So been a while, I guess. I can't remember the last time we vlogged, but some updates for you on what we're doing, what's next. We'll talk through some stuff, give you some updates, maybe do some technical demonstrations or get on the whiteboard and I don't know, give you some tips for your rowing so you can get faster. But just giving you a quick update on what we've been doing. Always stuff to work on, always stuff to improve. We've got head of the trials coming up, so a few of our athletes are competing in that, actually probably about 10 or so. So we'll be over there supporting them and meet loads of them in person for the first time as well, so that'll be good. We'll do a good edge rowing sort of team meetup on the Friday, that's the plan. I've never been to head of the trials actually, so it'll be cool to see, but I'm gonna take the dog for a walk again. So take Tokyo for a walk. Hey. Personal update, I'm getting into hockey a bit more recently. I'm gonna get competitive with that again. Been hopping on the erg and stuff recently as well. It's been good. I've realised that I'm basically just not designed for doing a lot of running. So I'm going to be doing some more. I don't know if you can hear with the wind and stuff, but I'll be doing some more stuff on the rowing machine. I might actually get out in the boat. I just love this time of year for like rowing. It's always like start of the year. I'm always like highly motivated and stuff. But yeah, hockey is really hard. I think it set me up so well for rowing. Like, whew. You get a great burn in the legs doing that sport, and also requires some hand-eye coordination, more than rowing for sure, but Pauline's been in 4th year, so she's been on placement all the time in Aberdeen. Crazy hard work that she's doing, so I'm up and down there all the time. Obviously the benefit of what we do is like it's all online, so it's pretty easy to do that. So one thing I've really been working on recently is just trying to like be much more clear on sort of the steps for progression with rowing. I think it just works so much better. Like us as the coaching team and stuff, we know in our heads what gets people results and what works for them. But we think it works so much better for the athlete if we can just have a clear, defined journey. And that's one thing we've been really working on, is how can we get these sort of ambiguous thoughts that our kind of coaching intuition has, and how can we transfer it into steps and clear processes for the athletes. That just makes everything better. So what to expect is basically, sounds so loud with all these cars going, is basically in some of our content, we're just going to be giving out some more free stuff on, sorry, cameraman trip just there. Some more free stuff and just better steps and better definitions so that people, everybody can use it. But I realize I'm not actually giving that much value. So we're going to go in the rowing machine and I'm going to give you guys some technical tips. So I thought we'd just try a slightly different format, try a bit more sort of educational technical stuff, talk through some concepts on one part of the stroke, and then demonstrate it on the rowing machine. So I thought a good place to start, I think for me, technically at all levels, is always at the finish. So we'll keep this strictly to the erg. There's obviously some stuff in the boat where I can maybe hint at, but some stuff that'll help in the erg and in the boat. So yeah, just kind of give you 3 points, 3 things to think about, 3 things to go away and apply to your rowing. But yeah, I've already finish of the stroke. It's mainly going to be about the draw and the connection, and maybe a little bit about the part of the recovery, but it's mainly going to be here, because that's a big part of the stroke where I think that people go wrong, is that connection. And people always say, rowers are always like, oh, rowing's like a leg sport, and people always ask me if it's arms, and it's not arms, it's legs. Well, that's of course true. I don't know, what do you think? Is he listening in? Are you getting educated about the finish? But yeah, the people think because rowing's legs that you don't want to use your arms, you still want to maintain connection. I see a lot of people that just lose that connection, and for boat specific stuff, the boat just drops, connection with the boat drops, and you the hull loses suspension. So the first kind of concept I want to talk about why you want to work on the finish and how you connect to the finish is about suspension and keeping the boat running flat. So I did a video on this a while ago. But basically, if you think I'm going to try and do a drawing, if you think about when you're rowing and you kind of, that is not good. Right. So when you are rowing in the boat like this and you're kind of coming through maybe like that part of the stroke and your oars are kind of going out like that, when you're coming through this part of the stroke, so when you're coming through this part of the stroke, when you're coming through here, that's when you're applying most force, and that's when the most amount of your weight is lifted out of the water, because when you're applying more force, means you're suspending your weight more. So you're hanging on the handles and pushing the force through the foot plate that way, and you're suspended and locked in the water through here. So this is a really efficient, that middle part of the stroke, when you open the back, the boat gets lifted out of the water the furthest amount because most amount of your weight is suspended. So what you would notice is kind of, again, if this is the water line, the boat kind of would be a bit higher like that, and the boat would be higher out of the water. And then as you drive back from that sort of position, you're applying less force, so the boat starts to get gradually returned to normal, and that water line gets a bit higher. You know, I'll maybe try and do another drawing here. You know, when you come through and your legs are sort of like here, and your back is just starting to open, and you're kind of hanging on the oar a little bit more, and the oar is maybe coming through. Again, this isn't going to be accurate at all with where the oar angle should be, but as you're coming through that last part of the stroke, you're applying less power, so the boat is getting returned to water level, to sort of the base level or whatever you'd want to call it. So when you're coming through here and you're leaning back, your legs are straight, and your arms, you've just got this last part of the arm draw to do. You've just got this last part of the acceleration. So when you come through with the arms, you're still putting the boat back down into the water. You're still returning that boat to the water. And when you do this right, and when you maintain force here, and when you keep that acceleration here and that press, it's kind of like you gradually putting the boat back down to the water. But if you lose this connection, you come through here and you're just soft and you do nothing. So this is the start of the stroke of the drive, and this is the end of the drive, finish. Okay, and you've got the force curve that you maybe see on the rowing machine. So you're not producing that much force at the start. When you come through that middle point that we talked about, that's when the boat is really lifted out of the water. That's when you're producing the most amount of force, and you're coming back down. And then maybe like this section here is the arm draw. So that's the arm draw section of the stroke, okay? And where people go wrong is that if you don't connect with the arm draw, you stop producing force, and the force just goes boom, down like that. And then what happens is the boat just gets sunk like that, and you're dropping the boat and letting it sink into the water. What you want to do is, you know, you're not going to be producing a lot of force with the arm draw, but you still want to keep a bit of it, so it's kind of like you're like gently putting the boat back down into the water, and that's kind of the concept of, Tokyo's getting a bit bored. That's the concept of maintaining that connection through the finish. And you also get more speed from it. Sorry, my pizza's done. You get more speed, you get more acceleration, it sets up. The other thing as well, sorry, I can keep going and going and going and going for all these things. The other thing is, if you think about the spoon in the water, I don't know how I'm going to draw this. This is going to be an oar. The spoon in the water, and you're pushing it that way, and what happens is the water line, you kind of get a bit of a bulge on the front of the spoon. I don't know how I'm going to be able to demonstrate this. If we think about it like, this is the water line, this is the oar sitting in the water when you're doing nothing. This will be a better demonstration actually. That's the oar doing nothing. Okay, you're looking straight onto the pad, I don't know why I keep saying paddle, the spoon. Okay, that's it doing nothing. The water is equal on both sides. When you push this, when you push that way, what you do is you create an imbalance of water on each side. So you get more on this side, and then you sort of like get less on this side. So you've kind of got a wee gap here on the back of the spoon. So when you maintain that connection through to the finish, you've got space on the back of the spoon, which is less water resistant. So when you go to take the blade out and push the blade out, you're only dealing with water resistance here that's like connected to the spoon, and all up here, you've not got that water touching the back part of the spoon. So it just makes popping out the spoon and turning it feathered. Again, this is very two-dimensional, my drawing, so apologies if it doesn't make sense. But it just makes extraction of the blade so much easier. So, right, enough theoretical stuff. I'm going to do some demonstrations for you. Get on the rowing machine, do some technical stuff. Yeah, I'll just kind of quickly show you, but basically what you want to do, the thing that you want to get right is, we've got Tokyo here jumping around in the background, assistant coach, but it's about maintaining connection through the foot plate and maintaining this press. As you draw, you need to be pushing into the foot plate as you push. And people often think, you know, finish my body, and I'm just like this, and like arms come through like that, and you're not pushing anything. You need to move the flywheel, to move the boat. You need to push through your feet. You need to draw and maintain that connection. So first point is going to be pushing through the feet and making sure that you push there, like you're trying to squeeze into the foot plate, like you're doing tug of war actually, and you're just like leaning and pulling back. The other thing would be, you know, maintaining a bit of connection through the skeleton. And probably the last one is going to be just doing it with good posture. You need to draw in with good posture, and if you're doing it slumped with a weak core, weak posture, you're going to be, it's not going to be as effective. Think about like trying to hit somebody with a handle, or think about trying to hit somebody with a rope. Like you want to use the handle, if you want to hurt them of course, but you want to use the handle, you want to turn your body into that strong position that you can be really effective with applying force. Thank you. But yeah, so those are kind of the main things to go with. A drill you could try, very, very simple. It's basically literally just arms only, but instead of just being usual, warming up, no pushing through the feet, think sit up tall, push and draw, and you want to push into the foot plate and feel that connection, like you're almost pushing the legs, but you just keep them straight. But yeah, something for you to try, some ideas to go away and play around with, and yeah, I think we'll pretty much just end the vlog there. That's been plenty of me rambling for one video. So yeah, I don't know, we might do another one before we head off to Boston, but yeah, we'll certainly be documenting Boston and stuff. So bye!